Welcome to the Wisdom, Wealth, and Winning Podcast. My name is Larry Crump, and I'm the councilman in the city of Newark.
And my name is Al Kinney, surrogate for the County of Essex.
My name is Larry Jones. I am the founder and CEO of Future Leaders of Tomorrow.
My name is Alfred Hardy. I'm the director of Parks and Recreation in the Township of Hillside.
Pull up a seat and come and eat with us.
You cannot survive without God.
No, you can't. No.
Same way, no, you can't.
I think you can survive through life without God, but I don't think you can fly through life without God.
What do you mean by that?
So I think you can survive through life without God. People survive through life without God all the time. Like you will live, you go through life, you live in. But I think the piece that God adds to your life, it allows you to excel. It allows you to like fly, and it gives you the strength to keep going. I think for a short period of time, I think I may have went through life without God. Didn't understand it, didn't know it. So, and I survived. Maybe my subconscious mind, I was always seeking. But I think since the season that I've been in the last few years, is just getting closer to God, understanding God, I've been able to thrive and do more, just from a personal standpoint, connected. So I just think, so the answer is, that's what I just think, like you could go through life and make it through life and be successful through life, but I don't know if you will be fulfilled without God. And that's the answer to that. Like, I've known people that said they were atheists, and they seem to be pretty okay in their life. That inner work, though, is because God gives you the inner peace, the spiritual peace, the mental peace, to continue to go on. But physically and professionally, I think you can.
You know, it's funny you say that because my mother's best friend and my godmother was an atheist. And if you know my mom was a very spiritual, religious person. Sure, so it was always interesting. People would never know that my Aunt Cynthia was an atheist. Wow. And although I answered the question differently, I understand what you're saying more now because she lived her life. I mean, she had a life. She had a great time. She did what she wanted to do with that aspect of it. Yeah. And at the end of the day, though, I think there's still a difference between living your life with God and living your life without.
I agree.
I don't think I think your life is multiplied tenfold with God in your life as opposed to where it is. So the interesting thing to me is wherever you are in it, it could be so much better with God.
I agree.
But I loved her dearly. She was the best person in the world. She spoiled me like nobody else did.
Yeah.
But she wasn't going to church.
Yeah.
She was. So I do appreciate your point in what you just said.
Yeah. And it can be a lot of church hurt. People experience church hurt. And they go through church, and when they put the person ahead of God or like God, and then the person, either the pastor, the reverend, whoever, disappoint or does something that in their eyes may not be godly, or the church isn't representing what they feel a church should represent from a spiritual or religious perspective, that could turn them away. Because I think church hurt is real. I think church, for a while, I was bouncing around from church to church because it just didn't feel real. So it took me a while to find a place that I could say I'm going to call home.
Yeah, I would say church and God they coexist. Churches, the place where people, men and women, fellowship and worship God. I think God is His own entity. However, surviving without God, I believe that even if you don't believe in God, you still survive. You still can't survive without Him, right? So if you are an atheist, even though you don't acknowledge Him, I still think He has enough love and enough grace for you to exist, even if you don't acknowledge Him. And so from my perspective, from a biblical standpoint, you might not live eternity with Him, but He still has enough love for you to let you live and let you do whatever it is that you have to do. So I still think that you cannot survive without God.
That's a really good point.
That is a good point. That is a good point.
Yeah. So
I think that I mean, it's a very interesting topic because I mean, I'm probably the only Muslim on at the table.
You are.
Yeah.
But I would say that it's interesting because as you spoke and as you shared, Larry, was that we have friends who have not professed
Yes.
a faith system or acknowledge God verbally,
Yeah.
right? But they maybe pray differently. They have faith, but have faith expressed differently. And so like it's I think you have, but I think with Al's point, that God is supposed to be so graceful that even if you don't acknowledge who I am, I still acknowledge your existence as human, and I create a pathway for you to thrive in whatever space that you thrive in. But I don't know. I mean, the more I think about it, can you survive without acknowledging God? The planet has been longer than any form of religion, right?
Yeah.
Like the world has been around for over 2 million years, right? And faith is really a short window of time, right? So then prior to Islam or prior to the formation of Christianity, the formation of Judaism, like the ones that we know of and the other religions, people still thrive. But they also thrive based on other ways that they express their faith systems during that time frame as well. But it's an interesting question. But I would make it probably more modern day. I don't know if you can survive without God, right? Because a lot of things that we do is based on faith, which is taught to us and taught through us by our religious, practices, right? And the rituals that come through our faith systems, our religion. So I don't know. I mean, the more that you actually said and the more that you shared, the more that Larry shared, now I'm thinking about it. Can you actually live without professing God? I don't know. I mean,
Some people pull on the strings of the ancestors. They call them the ancestors.
They called them ancestors. They did.
And pull on that strength.
Yeah.
For survival.
It was Rod, Egypt. There was those sort of things.
So add another part to it. So what about believing in a higher power as opposed to believing in God?
Yeah.
Is there a distinction in the reality of it is? I mean, it may not be in reality. I mean, whoever you worship could be considered God.
Sure.
But some people may have other thoughts and not necessarily say God, but maybe say the ancestors.
Yes.
Did this for me, got me here.
Yeah.
Maybe my a higher power of some other name
Yeah.
got it there.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to ask.
I was ready for the minister to
Yeah,
say
yeah.
something about that one.
When you speak, I'm like,
No. So I get it, right? I think we live in a human form, right? We live in a body, but we do have a soul, right? And for us, our soul is our mind, emotion, and wills. But our spirit goes beyond our this physical form, right? So there is life beyond the physical form. For instance, I don't know if you ever had a dream, and then you see it happen, like deja vu, right? That's not coincidence, right? That's spiritual activity working at its best, right? You're able to step into your future, right? So there is for me, it would be God, the Trinity, you know what I mean? But there are higher powers that is working within this earth realm that is unseen, right? And so now that comes to your belief system, how you interpret, let's just say within your faith, right? But we cannot just not acknowledge that there's no. I believe there is no coincidences, right? You just didn't just get up and just. I think meet Zelma. I think you know what I mean. Like it was preordained, right? Same thing with you and Jaron. Like so I think like when we come from this perspective, right? So let me use, for example, for me. I could give multiple examples. Before we went, I met April. I was praying and I was fasting, just praying and fasting. Just I wasn't trying to meet April. It was just me praying and fasting because I believe at that time I just did that on every year at a certain point in time. and then so happen as soon as I get off the fast, I meet her. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
That's spirit. That's spirit for me. That was spiritual work at its best, right? And like the way the story comes around, she wasn't there to meet me. She was actually, they was going to introduce her to somebody else.
Oh yeah.
After he didn't tell that part of the story.
He definitely didn't tell that part of the story.
But then when I got there,
We upgraded her.
it's all
So
good.
the better.
The light was
See,
like,
that's the one right there.
Exactly.
This guy, this one right
he
there.
was around him like, let's go.
When I got there, I got it was a bike ride. When I got to the bike ride, I got there late, and then my tire got flat, and I was gonna go home. And then something in my mind, right,
Yeah.
it was like, let me go see if somebody has an air pump, and then it's like so happened, like you know what I mean, like
And to add to your story, April was going to ride with us to go back.
yeah.
But she didn't for some. I can't remember why she didn't. But she's gonna ride with us. She's not.
He said.
I don't know if you knew. If you knew she was gonna ride with us.
Yeah, I
He
was
said
gonna-
that.
I was gonna get her in the car. The objective was to get her in the car with him, so they could spend time with each other.
That's right.
And then get her bike on. We got it on her bike in October Huntley's car to come back to Newark.
Yeah. So like you know, so certain things are
Yeah.
not coincidences.
Yeah.
I believe there are divine appointments, right? You know what I mean. So a lot of times in life, our disappointments take us to divine appointments.
Yeah.
Right. So I think we have to like really start thinking about our life.
Yeah.
In the perspective of what's happening,
Like-
and it can't just be like, man, that was just all me.
Yeah. Well, I believe
Yeah.
that.
Never.
You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
But there's people who think that.
There are a lot of people that believe that. 'Cause
Yeah.
I believe in everything you just said.
Yeah.
You know, but I do know people that don't.
Yeah.
Some people think everything that they got is based off of their work and based off of their ability of what they did, and they don't acknowledge a higher power.
Well, let me ask a question. And I remember when I was in college, we took a class called PEBS, Private Education of Black Students, and we had one class that was called "Who is God?"
Yeah.
Like, what is God, right? How do you identify God? Since we all talking about different faith systems, and that's so. I guess the question to the minister, and maybe to you guys, who is God? Like, and like, what is God outside of, and like it can't just be a deity. It has to be something more. Is it an energy? Is it something that creates the world? Like there's the Nation of Islam, teaching that says is this, right? Or in Islam, it teaches you a different way of how to see God, right? So like, what is God to you? And like, if I say this is God, okay, now I can say that's what is God. Now that's how I can see that God is relevant to my life. Like, what is God, and how do you make that say that has relevancy in my life? Like, how would you define that?
Well, in my house, I have a picture of a black guy with dreads. That's God to me. In my house, I'm painting, I have a picture of a black man with dreads. But that's a good question. I think I am still seeking who is God.
Sure.
And I'm still trying to get an understanding of who is God and what is God. But from what I do know, that God is present in my life and always been, whether I know it or not. And I'm seeking to be more God-like daily. I ask God to walk my walks,
Sure.
speak my speak, see my see, and hear what I need to hear.
Sure.
And process it. Because I do know when I didn't have God, when I didn't acknowledge God, what life was like. And it wasn't terrible, but I know my thought pattern was completely different. More toxic,
Yeah.
more aggressive,
Yeah.
and more unforgiving. I was very unforgiving. And God allowed me to, see people, God in my see people for their hurt
Sure.
and not take. You know what? I shared this other day, and it's kind of a little bit, but still relates. At the Black Boy Joy Fest, right? We was there, and there was this young man that came up to register. He wanted to participate. Older guy, in his 30s. So when he went to register, I asked him, like, do you want to come and support? Like, he said he signed up as a participant. And I said, well, you can't be a participant because you are too old. It's for young kids. He immediately got upset, got defensive. Why are you lying to me? why he always why he said that to me? So, and that's when I feel like God again stepped in, because I was able to see he had some trauma of people lying to him, one, because he automatically assumed we lied to him. I'm like, we didn't lie to you. I said, this is our first time doing this event. We're learning, and this day is about joy and celebration. I think you still can volunteer, participate. You have to be a volunteer. Oh, I got to create this thing all over again. I'm like, so I had to see him 4 years ago. It would have been different.
Yeah.
I know it would have been different. But because I was able, and God stepped in, and it has to be over God, I was able to see him and acknowledge his pain without acknowledging his pain, but allow him to participate. He ended up being our best volunteer of the day. And on top of that, he ended up meeting his brother that he never met before, because he was taken away from him when he was little,
Sure.
as
Really?
a baby. And his brother met him there. He saw his face, and he said, "That's my brother."
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
He's like, "That's my
Really?
brother."
That's
yeah, that
crazy.
happened that day. He met one of my board members actually. He said, "That's my brother," and he started talking. He said, "Cause you remember when he was little, they would take him away from him." But the purpose of the story is that if it wasn't for God and me, that was able to see him as a person and as a human that has some experiences, he would have never been able to learn that he was one of our best volunteers, and he would never met his brother. So I believe in God, and I know there's a God, or there's a higher power. What does it look like? I'm not sure. I hope it looks like me, and my walk. I hope that's look like what God is.
Yeah, so I guess for me, when we talk about God, right? God is a divine, not a human, but a divine being, a spiritual being that goes beyond the human conception. You know what I mean? The human. So it's an eternity type of being because we're trapped into this vessel. We're trapped into a body and time, right? So God goes beyond this body and time. So I think that the issue to try to conceptualize God is a difficult question, right? Because you're talking about a person who created us. so now we're asking the question, like, who is the creator, right? And so that is people take years of study. They die trying to study who is God, right? But from my finite thinking and from studying and my relationship with God, I would say that he's a divine being, right? That goes beyond this human form, the time and beyond the earth. You know what I mean? Like when people talk about the universe, I believe God created the universe, the planets, the stars, and the earth, right? So I believe that everything in creation is created by God. So now, when we're talking about a higher power, I do believe that there are higher powers. You know what I mean? That go, but I believe that God is the creator of those higher powers, right? So I mean, that's how I would define who God is. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't see God in a human form.
Sure.
You know, I see him omnipresent and just over us all.
yeah,
And one that knows everything, is everywhere. Every walk we take is because of him. Every
Sure.
breath we breathe is because of him.
Sure.
Every decision we make is because of him. Although the devil gets in there sometimes.
That's right.
But also that's God too, right? Like he created created the devil so you can show contrast, and humility. I think that, so what I heard is, what I'm hearing is God are these particular attributes, like you just described love. Like you literally describe God as being love, and then you also describe God as having this like is everlasting, right? The formation of the universe and the formation of who we are as human beings, and like the spirit that sustains life. And the question is, can you survive without that? You can't. So like if you had to define God in that form, then you can't have life. Now it goes now I got my answer, right? Right. So now it's like, now I'm thinking about it, like, wait a second, you can't survive without the things that you just described: love, things that you may believe are preordained, but faith, then also something that's universal, something that that has the start of time to the whatever the end of time might look like, and the formation of this world and the science that's been created to support it. So technically, you cannot survive without an understanding of God. And I guess then the other part of it is that how we live our life. Are we living our life according to what we believe God to be? If God is love, and if I'm looking at you, I see God, and I do something that's distinctly different, then am I living according to what God is?
Yeah.
Right. So if I believe in God, I should love you, right? And if you believe in God, I should expect love from you. But then the devil comes in, is like, let me show you something different.
We all fall from grace.
Yeah.
Yeah. As black men, though, right? So I guess, how do we see, and this has been, historically for us, how do we see God in the midst of our story from being slaves to where we are now, right? I believe racism is a form of evil wickedness, right? But how do we see, how do we look at, in our even in our interactions with with white men, or even the white power structure, like, how do we interact with that and still have God, if that makes sense?
If God is grace, we've extended grace for a long period of time, but also believe God is justice as well.
Yeah, definitely.
And so you can't have grace without justice. And I think that sometimes the way we've been fed God is to be mealy mouth, is to not expect justice, not to enact revenge, right? To not take what we believe was stolen from us as well. I think we also been taught how God is passive. And that's not what I believe God is to be. And so in the midst of enslavement, Jim Crowism, all of the isms that impacted me, and that's going to affect my children, I think also God is anger as well.
Yeah.
And then so
Yeah.
if I sit there and tell myself God is these higher attributes, I'm lying to myself, because at the end of the day, I really feel that way. Because there's no way in the world that my great-great-grandparents should have suffered the way they suffered and didn't throw themselves into the middle of the Atlantic Ocean because they wanted to show that I had life today, right? I still feel it, right? And then when you visit the Goree Islands or you visit Ghana and you see the door of no return, that stuff is real.
Yeah.
And so like, I feel that way. And so obviously I want to believe something higher, but also I'm real in terms of how my emotions make me see other people that don't look like me, who actually are descendants of those who enslaved my great-great-great-grandparents, then lie to themselves to say, well, my parents got their stuff based on the merit of their own hard work and efforts. And I'm like, you lying. You lying. And so that's the way I feel. I'm sorry, but that's the way I feel.
No.
Yeah, just,
Exactly.
It's just like,
Yeah.
I appreciate the conversation here. So it's a very deep one that we could go on forever.
Yeah.
Why do you thank God? Do you thank God when you're having bad times? Or do
Yeah.
you thank God when you're having good times? What Job went through was another part of the whole
oh,
experience.
Joe, come on, brother. He's teaching
Your
that,
belief
brother.
is your belief.
Yeah.
Teaching there, brother.
Believe it through whatever you go through. And it should not change at all. You should all never stray from God. So I think this is an important dialogue and discussion, and I look forward to having further conversations and dealing with something like this.
That's good, man.
Yeah.
As you can see, we get real personal here. And with our experiences, we hope we can share our wisdom with you and help you with your goals. Make sure you join us for the next sit down of Wisdom, Wealth, and Winning. And don't forget to rate, follow, subscribe, and share. Thank you again for being with us.